You'd rather have a resident of your city, likely upper middle class, be able to plug their Tesla in at a park than a working class family be able to afford to put gas in their car and food on their table. Good for you, City of Issaquah. This segment is brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I'm down 37 pounds on the program, and I lost most of that in just 2 months. Do what I did and what so many other undivided viewers have done. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. We know the Climate Commitment Act is all about money. That's all this is. You guys, that's all it is. It's about money in the pockets of municipalities, of counties. They can do all the things they want to do. Remember how this is kind of what this reminds me of, like Bob Ferguson when he was on the King County Council and now he's running for governor, and he brags that he balanced the budget. That you know how we balance the budget, because of course he acts like a moderate and like he can work across the aisle, which he can't, of course. You know what we did? We took Democrats and Republicans and we locked ourselves in a room and we didn't leave until the budget was balanced. But he doesn't mention that during that time, they also approved $1 billion in new taxes. Yeah. Any family could balance their budget if they had an unlimited teat to suckle from taxpayers. If you had an unlimited income stream, you too could balance your budget. So it's just ridiculous. But all the Climate Commitment Act is about greed. We already know that there is no measurement for how it might improve the environment. Some of the things it goes to pay for actually don't do anything. And this is the admission of some Democratic lawmakers to directly impact the environment. Things like air quality monitoring, as if we don't get that on our cell phones. And then, the research that has been done that we've discussed on this show says that even if Washington State meets all its current climate goals, which are completely unrealistic anyway, some of them aren't feasible because we just don't have the infrastructure and never will to be able to achieve them, that it would lower the global temperature like 3/1000ths of 1%. So, which is like well within the margin of error for a thermometer. So it's all nonsense. It's all about money into government coffers, money out of government coffers, into the pockets of their political allies and cronies. And I know that makes me sound like an uber libertarian. Fine. So we talked on the show last week about how all these municipalities all of a sudden are voting on whether to take a position against Initiative 2117. So I-2117 will eliminate the carbon auctions and thus eliminate the Climate Commitment Act, which has raised gas prices, right? So we saw all these cities, and did you find out, did Bellingham just do it too? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Seattle, Bellingham, there's, you name it. A bunch of cities city councils took an actual vote to, on the record, say they are opposed to Initiative 2117, which I find to be an incredibly irresponsible and corrupt use of taxpayer time and resources. Usually those two things aren't supposed to mix, like official business and campaign business. And so when I first started hearing about this, when Olympia did it, it was like on the front page of the Olympian, or maybe it was one of those cities down by Olympia. And I thought, how can that even be allowed? Well, apparently there's this little carve out in state law that allows jurisdictions to take a position on a ballot initiative if it directly impacts their funding. So that's what they did, right? So the first city, we had a viewer who kind of tipped us off like, hey, the city of Issaquah is doing this. Is this normal? And that's when we started looking into this. And that's when almost simultaneously, after we heard about the Issaquah thing, all these other cities started to do it. And it seemed, I think I even said it on the show, it seemed very coordinated, right? For them to all come out and take this stand against Initiative 2117. And I said at the time, it's all about money. We finally, after like a week and a half, got an email back from the city of Issaquah, the city council president, Lindsay Walsh. Nicole had asked, this was before they had a public hearing to express their opposition. And Nicole had asked, does the council believe it's appropriate or common for taxpayer resources to be utilized for taking a position on a ballot initiative? So we finally heard back. Again, Issaquah City Council President Lindsay Walsh said, the Issaquah City Council was advised, per RCW, we could consider a resolution supporting or opposing a ballot proposition, provided we give approximately equal opportunity to each side to express their opinions, and the presentation we receive from city staff is an objective and fair presentation of the facts. That line again. The Issaquah City Council was advised, per RCW. She goes on to say, part of the presentation of facts was the funding the city of Issaquah has secured or is pending from the Climate Commitment Act. You can find that list here. All right, let's go through the list here. So we knew it was about money, right? These cities have been promised money from the CCA, from money from you that you're paying at the pump. Don't forget, that's where that money's coming from. Now, technically, the polluters who had to buy these carbon credits, they're actually paying into this program, but they're passing the cost along to you. So you're paying for this stuff. So this is all about bribery, right? So let's see. There were two tables they provided us with. This first one, City of Issaquah secured grants funded through the Climate Commitment Act. All grants listed below are fully or partially funded through the CCA. So let's see here. There is $150,000 for Energy Smart East Side, which helps with low and moderate income clean energy installations. $100,000 for solar plus storage design, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it's for this EV charging, $60,000 for their fleet. So to the tune of $1.2 million in CCA money already guaranteed or even fully funded to the city of Issaquah. Now, what I would say about that money's not going away then. That money's not going away. If it's already if they've already doled that money out or promised that funding, it's for funds they already received into the government coffers through the CCA. So they're not going to turn around and take it away. They've already given it to you. Just like the government isn't going to refund, all these polluters the money that they paid for carbon credits. No, that money is the government's money. They're already spending it. They're not going to turn around and take all this money from the city of Issaquah. So that's irrelevant. That argument that you've got this funding from the CCA, this 1.2 million, is irrelevant because you're going to keep it. That's the argument that I made when they came out and said, hey, we're giving these energy credits of $200. And Inslee said, and people who support the repeal want to take these energy credits away. No, because you already have the money to pay them out. So it's not like if the CCA is repealed in November, the government's going to come back to you and say, we want that $200 credit back. No, they already gave it to you. It's already money that the government had. So it's just a misnomer. So the other one is they say that there's pending grants with CCA or partial CCA funding. So $2.4 million in pending grants that is either full or in part funded by the CCA. So the city of Issaquah, this is about money for them. But, one of the things that I would note is all the things they list here, right? So $1.88 million for charger installations at Tibbetts Valley Park, $334,000 for energy efficiency upgrades. All this stuff has to do with issues and ideas that are pushed through the CCA. So clean energy, whatever it is. These aren't necessities. None of the things on this list are necessities. The city of Issaquah got this money and they're like, oh, we love this. We got money to do things with, and they want to keep it at the expense of their constituents, at the expense of working class families. What is more important for a tax-paying resident of the city of Issaquah? Being able to afford to put gas in their car, or being able to plug their Tesla in while they're visiting Tibbetts Valley Park? Nicole, what do you think is more critical for the government to make sure that a working class family can put gasoline in their car to get to and from work, or that someone with a Tesla can plug it in while they're walking their dog at the park?
Wow.
Just in case am I being unreasonable
here? I'm going to go for option number one.
Option number one, yeah. So you're willing to support this completely unnecessary policy, all this unnecessary spending at the expense of people who are actually struggling for real needs they have, not to mention the fact that the CCA, since it increases gas prices, it increases the price of food. You'd rather have a resident of your city, likely upper middle class, be able to plug their Tesla in at a park than a working class family be able to afford to put gas in their car and food on their table. Good for you, city of Issaquah. Really well done.